Warning, the following may contain illithids. Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced. Previously on Crit-Faced, using magic and stealth, the team have managed to escape the Vistani camp. Aware that pursuit will come quickly, they prepare to head towards the distant town of Vallaki.
Okay. So guys, you head back to the, if you recall, it was a sort of a fork in the road that you travelled down. There was a gallows at the fork in the road, actually, I think. You recall, it was the empty gallows, thank goodness, and the path that you are, the road that you've not travelled along yet had the signpost pointing to Ravenloft, stroke Vallaki. So I assume you're going to travel that.
Yes.
Well, we're not going back to Ravenloft.
Nope.
Well, Ravenloft is the name of the castle.
Strahd's castle, yeah.
Yes.
We can find that cookie lady.
I have a feeling she will find us.
I do too.
So guys, you continue to walk along this road then. As I said, it heads off to the west, and you spend a good half day travelling along it. You've been in woods most of the time, and the road sort of curves around to the south and eventually sort of loops up north and becomes a bit more of a mountainous area. Eventually, you do reach the stone bridge that you viewed this morning from the bottom of the falls, and there are gargoyles cloaked in black moss perching on the edge of this bridge. Sort of weather-worn frowns on them, and you can see the waterfall that Kellen was swimming under this morning, off to your west there, 1,000 feet below. And then the river sort of meanders off to the east, where the Vistani camp is somewhere down there. Are we happy enough just to continue?
Well, I mean, so we like inspect the bridge a little bit. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I like to check a bridge that stands over 1,000-foot drop. Just give it a look before we set foot on it.
And I'm going to inspect the gargoyles.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys? Well, let's take some inspection checks then.
Investigation or perception?
Investigation.
The new dice. 18.
Okay.
4.
8.
So was someone else rolling?
Oh no.
no, I wasn't rolling.
So
just
the
drop
gargoyles,
something.
from what you can tell, Kellen, the gargoyles are just harmless sculptures. I mean, they're all the features are close to being faded away just by the weather, and they're hundreds of years old, if not more. The bridge is fine. It's a bit slick with moisture. It is quite misty here. Nothing as thick as when you guys first entered Barovia, but there's a general layer of mist surrounding the whole land, and the bridge is slick with moisture, but it looks safe to cross.
Guys, I do have a rope. We could tie it between us, or at least hold it in case there's some sort of problem with the bridge. One of us falls through. We can bring that person up.
Yeah, sure. Let's send the heaviest person across. That makes sense, don't you think? Like you send your wagon over the bridge, test it first, and I don't know who the heaviest here would be. Well, it probably would be you, sir.
I'll do it, and I'll take the lead rope, and you all hold it, and maybe follow me.
Oh, don't worry.
Why don't we tie it to a gargoyle?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
How long is the bridge?
400 feet.
No, we'll say the bridge is 100 feet long.
All right. I only have
The rope
50
is-
feet.
I was
50
gonna
feet
say,
of
you
rope.
can get halfway across it.
Well, I mean, that's really where the trouble's going to happen if you think about it.
That's true.
Why don't you all hold it and then just slowly follow along? Maybe follow in 10-foot increments.
Okay. I will be last.
Tally ho!
Okay. So you inch along. As I said, it's quite mossy, slippery, but it seems firm. Good stonework, nothing. So you get to the middle of it, and everything seems fine. You're happy enough with your progress. It looks to be the same the rest of the way across, from what you can tell.
I'll continue on.
Okay. And you get to the other side.
Yay!
No issues. Looks like it's safe for everyone else to cross as well.
Okay. So far we've been to a unimportant lake and an inessential bridge.
Well, if the bridge wasn't there, you'd have a lot of difficulty getting across the chasm. But
I'm beginning to thirst for danger. Does anyone else have that desire? I don't know. I feel like maybe we should get in a fight.
It's been a while since Lord Talfrin cast a fireball.
Well, fine. I throw a fireball up into the sky.
Oh no!
Okay. Are we
What
happy
goes
enough?
up?
Are we happy enough to continue, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we're spending a few more hours traveling. We're into the afternoon now of the day. It is that you're definitely up. The road has continued to rise up. Obviously, you got above the pool, and it continues to rise. It's quite mountainous area now. Although the forest and the fog that you've been used to is still inescapable. Eventually, ahead, guys, the dirt road that you're on, it splits in two, heading off to the west and to the east, where it sort of widens in that direction. Off to the east, you see patches of cobblestone. Suggesting that at one point the eastern branch of this road was once a very important thoroughfare. However, parked here at this fork in the road is a large black carriage drawn by two black horses. The horses snort puffs of steamy breath into the chill mountain air, and the side door of the carriage swings open silently. Master Sonna, you feel Irina grab your arm. Her fingers are rigidly gripping your flesh. You can tell that she's terrified, and she says, "It is him. It is his."
Strahd?
Fireball. Reflexive, like shoot from the hip.
Are you setting the carriage on fire?
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's Strahd. Well, how could it not be a good idea to start killing Strahd as soon as he appears? When he takes his sword?
She just said it. I think she said it's his.
It's him.
Does there appear to be anyone in the carriage?
It does not appear as if anyone is in the carriage.
I say it's a carriage. I'm tired of walking. A carriage is a carriage.
I think he's giving us a lift.
The carriage is pointing east.
Let's get in the carriage.
Now,
but we want to go west. Isn't Vistaria west?
Ismark, he says, Vallaki is to the west. To the east.
Vallaki.
To the east is Castle Ravenloft. His home.
Who wants to end the campaign early?
Well, I just wonder, do you think he has some creature comforts that we could appreciate? I don't.
Yes.
We're not going to get many fantasy
blood.
Yeah. So we're all agreeing that we do not get in the carriage.
But there's nothing to stop us from liberating the horses. We're not stealing from the Vistani, we're stealing from Strahd. And since we're technically trying to kill Strahd, it's not a sin to steal from Strahd, because it's hardly a greater offense to steal than to murder.
And Irina, obviously she's listening to what she's saying. She says, do not do anything to anger him. Do not draw his attention to you.
Well, the carriage is obviously an indication that we have drawn his attention. Traveling in your company obviously means we've drawn his attention. And the fact that we're telling everybody we want magic weapons to use to kill him is inevitably going to draw his attention.
But I don't you think there's like something about messing with a man's mode of transport that it's a different level. It's a different level. It's a. I say we just walk away. Now that I think about it, he seems like a bad man. Let's just go.
For once, and I'm in agreement.
The other problem is also if there aren't 6 horses, then we're going to have a transportation problem anyway, because it means someone will always lag behind.
That's true.
Well, we double up.
We'd have to triple up.
Well,
I'm not riding with the barbarian. I'm not doing it.
He's had his annual bathing. I think it's okay to ride with him.
He hasn't been deloused yet, I don't think.
Fireball.
I think we should just pretend we did not see this invitation and keep going. Just ignore it. That's what I do.
I agree with
you see a bad review in the newspaper after a performance that you know was stellar. Just ignore it. And if you ignore it, it wasn't there.
I agree with the bad actor.
I've never gotten one of those myself. I had a friend who got one. It's only glowing for me.
Ismark.
All right.
Ismark says, as you're debating, he also says, I do agree that this is not a good idea, but please also bear in mind, this is an invitation. I do not know how he will react when we refuse his invitation.
Okay. It's more dangerous to refuse his invitation than it is to go see him.
No, I mean, maybe he just wants to have a barbecue or something.
The
barbecuing vampires, of course.
Of course, I will not bring Irina to his castle for him. I will not do the devil's work for him, but I do not want you to walk into this with your eyes closed. I do not believe he will take kindly to us refusing this.
So what you're suggesting is that we 4 go and you 2 stay here, and then we get eaten, and that's the end of it.
I would not wish that on you, Master Malame. Also,
you know, says
you know where
not the rest of the group.
You know where Irina and I are headed, and it would do me no good for
the
devil to know.
So you're saying we should go?
I am certainly not. In fact, if you were listening, I said in no way would I bring Irina there.
Not you two, the rest of us.
Absolutely not.
The 4 of us.
I think it would be foolish. I just want you to know I do not think he will take kindly to our refusal of his invitation.
So this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation.
Absolutely.
So
what if we send him? What if we send him a token of respect? Like, we don't go in the carriage, but we throw something in there that will signal.
I'd be happy to go in the carriage.
I wouldn't do that too, so I'm just joking. I don't think that's a good idea.
Don't do it, Kellen.
Yes. He would eat you and then get very sleepy because you're very large.
I'd be a really bad vampire.
And that's a good point as well. I don't think probably from the other side.
Prey on horses.
Oh God.
And rabbits.
What if we just pen a letter and pop that in the carriage? And, politely.
Thank
John,
you so much.
Sure, yes, thank you. Unfortunately, at this time, we are otherwise engaged. It's not you, it's us. Something along.
Yeah, we got muddy clothes from the travels, and we don't want to get your carriage all dirty. So make it like we're doing him a favor.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Here, I pull out a quill and paper, and I hand it to Jean, and I say, "Write something soothing." And we will pop it in the carriage.
Okay, I can do that.
Ease all tension.
Okay, what are you writing?
I'll give you the gist of it. I'll give you the gist.
The people you've invited are temporarily not available.
Yes.
Or something,
Yeah, I think we should just be polite, but kind of obscure. We don't have to be direct. We just say like, "Thank you so much for seeing the carriage. It's a lovely carriage. We're flattered, of course, and it is something that we look forward to accepting in the future. In the future, we would love to come and see your oubliettes and gallows and a pool full of severed limbs or whatever you have. It's sure delightful. We all look forward to feasting upon blood with you. But right now, we have to proceed on to our. We have if I'm very frank, we have a dinner date, and it can't be broken. And that's we would if we could. We don't want to go, but we said 2 weeks ago we would. And you know how these things go. You can't after you say yes, you can't say no. And so. Thank you so much, sincerely, the Barbarian, Jean Marlemay, and the rest of them. Who cares?
Okay.
So we fold the letter into a paper airplane so we can throw it from a safe distance. Throw it into the carriage from like 10 feet away, 20 feet away, and then race towards Vallaki.
Yeah, that seems good.
Okay. So when you place when the letter goes into the carriage door slowly closes, and the horses give one more snort each, and they begin to trot, carrying the carriage off along the faded cobblestones of the path to the east, to Castle Ravenloft. Master Sonna, Irina continues to grip your arm. She's saying nothing, but her eyes are wide and fixed to the east. So you can't see anything. It's too mountainous terrain over there to make out the spires of the castle anymore. But obviously, she's fixated on it nonetheless. What's our plan, guys?
Well, I think that the best thing to do is to get indoors, maybe underground,
or stand in a river all night.
Sort of mid-afternoon at the moment. The road that you're to travel is westward. Are we continuing westward?
Yeah,
I believe we are.
We're picking up our heels.
Yes.
All right, guys. We continue to travel again. The best part of an hour or so, and you come across.
Another carriage. This one's more insistent.
Actually, what you come across here is it's a very familiar sight. Actually, it's
the Stanley Lynch party.
It's a set of iron doors. It's a 50-foot. There's guard, really high guard towers in the form of actual guard figures, and closed doors, barring your path, just like the gates that you saw when you first entered Barovia all those days ago.
When we were first introduced to my alter ego, Madame Rousseau.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Almost an identical copy of them. You are certain these are not the same gates, because the environment around you is slightly different, but they are closed and barring your path to the west.
So we can't. We should not have refused. We have to go back.
Seems like a very good sign.
Can we knock on the door?
We go around it.
Is crying allowed?
So this is. Remember, we said it was quite a mountainous area. So they are, set in such a way where the walls of the gates are, the cliffs around you. You could not easily scale them. However, just like the previous doors, as you get closer to these to investigate them, you hear a clanking noise from within, and the gates open towards you.
That was easy.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Stroud.
You like the letter?
And as you walk through, of course they close behind.
Fair enough.
Barring off the sort of the realm behind you.
Really want to return.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Fine.
So is it better on this side? Is it like springtime and sunshine and?
Well, the mountains that as you continue to walk along, guys, sort of the mountainous area that you were in, it's sort of the Sphalic road that you're on. It transitions. It stops being this winding path through the mountains, and it becomes a bit of a lazy trail that sort of descends into a fog-filled valley, sort of hugging the mountainside as it's doing that. So guys, from where you are, you can see quite a distance because obviously you're up high. So in the heart of the valley, off to the sort of northwest of where you are, you can see a walled town, far in the distance, and it's near the shores of a great lake. There are off to the north, there are much taller mountains than the ones that you're on now, and this lake is at the bottom of them. I mean, that lake is massive. You reckon if you travelled from where you are now back to the village of Barovia, the lake is possibly even wider than the distance that you've travelled already from the village. It's huge, but you can clearly see a walled town at its southern shore from where you are. The lake waters are dark and still. As you continue,
any buildings in the lake?
None that you can see. And
is there a tower on the shore?
do you want to take a perception check?
Yes.
That's a yes.
Can I take a passive perception check?
Oh, yes.
Well,
18.
No, this isn't passive. You're specifically looking for it.
It's very frustrating to have a bonus you can never purposefully use.
I know, but I will tell you when it does get used.
Well, one day.
I do have a note of it.
Perception, 9.
Okay.
I had an 18.
So, no, you cannot make any other buildings out along the edge of the lake from where you are. It is quite heavily wooded all around it. As you are staring, Ismark steps forward and he says, "That must be Vallaki. That is where I am taking Irina. Look at the walls around it. Look how strong it looks. Surely that will be the place to hide."
Impregnable.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Absolutely not.
So, guys, as you continue to travel along the road, it branches off slightly. Now, the main road sort of loops up to the north. This is the road that, from what you can tell, seems to lead to the walled village. However, there's a smaller road to the west, leading to a small but very prominent hill. And on top of the hill, you can see a dilapidated stone windmill. The warped wooden vanes of it are stripped bare. It is no longer turning.
That could be the tower.
That seems like it's going to be a roost for a lot of terrible things. I don't know. Why don't we just set it on fire and keep going? I just don't think we should go in there.
I like how you're adopting my mentality.
Yes.
I think we ought to inspect the windmill.
Of course you do. Huh?
How about it? How about we cast invisibility on Jean Mallarmé? Send him forth to investigate the windmill.
Okay. I only have one left.
I know. I have it. I can cast it.
You're going to make me invisible. Okay. Well, I'll go take a look. Okay.
How many,
sure.
Lord Taffin, how many level 2 spells do you have?
I have one level 2 spell, invisibility, and I cast it 3 times a day. This will be the second time I cast it.
Okay.
All right. So now you see me, and now you don't. I am invisible. I'm making faces at you all.
Okay. So, Jean, what do you do? I mean, sorry, I should have said before you cast a spell. I mean, it is still about a mile away. This windmill.
Oh, well, that's a lot.
It is a bit of a distance.
Well, anticlimactic.
So,
yeah. So now I'm just invisible for no reason.
But obviously, it's very prominently there on top of that hill. You certainly could.
Oh, so I have to climb up.
You could all go closer. I guess.
Well, maybe we should get a little closer before we make me invisible.
It's a little too early.
Little premature.
So I've just discovered I have a cantrip spell called Message. I kept reading it as Massage up until now. Message. And what it does is we can now make when Jean is invisible, he goes forth to scout. I can cast this on him as long as he's within 120 feet. and we can communicate to each other by a whisper, even if there's like a stone wall between us.
Oh, that's nice.
So
I
you
like
can now scout and communicate with us while you're scouting.
Perfect. Okay. So shall we approach the tower, then make me invisible, then I go scout and have the whispery thing with you?
Then I'll come
the massage. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So
Okay, so
we're at the tower.
So Ismark obviously says, "What? No, what? Excuse me. Sorry, this is not the way to Vallaki. Vallaki is to the north. And remember, I said to you that we are trying to avoid nightfall. Now, obviously, it is late in the afternoon. It is getting dark. We will have to make camp, but I do not wish to do this more than one more time before we reach the town. So why are we not heading to Vallaki?"
Because this position is very defensible, and so if we want to have a night camp somewhere, this would be an ideal strategic position.
I cannot imagine that you are the first person to think that. I am wondering.
Neither can I.
I am wondering what exactly might be waiting for us there in that windmill, and why would
Isn't that
why
kind
would
of
I be
exciting in and of itself?
Well, so we're going to scout ahead. And if I look through the window and it's filled with like bloodthirsty bats or like, zombies or whatever, I will come back and say, no. And we will just continue on our way.
And we are searching for a wizard's tower. Maybe
a wizard's tower in a lake. We are still many miles away from the lake.
Well, lakes ebb and flow. They recede with time, and it's also possible that Madame Eva was a little bit off. It could have been a windmill by a lake, not a tower in a lake.
It's true.
She was old and falling asleep as she did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
I agree. I think there's logic to it because we'll just kick ourselves later. We'll like, well, what was in that windmill? Was there like a sunshine sword or something? Yes. Who knows? I say we give it a look.
And Jean can cross 100 feet and back in like 3 minutes. We're not losing any time.
That's right. We're losing more time talking about it than just doing it.
Invisibility.
Okay. Well, as you make your way towards the tower,
right.
When maybe you've only moved sort of 100 feet away from the main branch of the path, a magpie flies down from the sky.
Oh, abort! Everyone, let's leave. Wait, wasn't a magpie tailing us? Wasn't a magpie tailing us before? And I blasted it with fire.
Yes. So
firebolt.
The magpie flies down onto the path.
Firebolt.
No.
I have a range of 200 feet.
Wait.
The wizard's tower on the lake.
50 feet away from you, in the middle of the path, it starts tapping the path with its beak.
I say we hear the bird out.
So the
thing is, if I remember Madame Eva's words correctly, which probably I don't because it was so long ago, but we were supposed to look for the wizard's tower on the lake to find a name and a guardian.
Yeah, no, the guardian was with regard to the gravestones. It did say wizard's tower on the lake. The wizard's name and his servant will guide you.
Oh, so
it could be a servant.
It could be the servant. Let's not blast servants. Let's see where this goes.
So the magpie is hopping about on the path, squawking at you. It seems quite agitated.
This is my quandary.
Yes,
I've already tried to incinerate it once, which it feels like a commitment. Like if you walk back from that.
It's never too late to change. I think that's the thing that we've all learned as we grow and get older. Like it's never too late to change, to recognize your mistakes and grow by not shooting birds. I think that's.
But they also say you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Does anyone speak magpie?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Is that a serious question?
I mean, could we recognize that
I grew up in the wild.
So
is the agitation because we're approaching?
Do you want to take an insight check?
Yeah. Animal handling? Can I?
No insight.
I want to
Okay,
coax
insight.
it to my arm.
I'm good with insight. I have +5, and I just rolled
Changing my
14.
dice.
Yay!
Hey.
19.
So a 19.
Yeah. So, Master Sonna and anyone else who gets a decent roll like that, you definitely get the impression that the magpie is trying to warn you away from the windmill.
Oh, well.
See, but if the magpie is working
The
for
enemy.
Strahd, then
You wouldn't want
what's
it
in the
to get
tower?
the sunlit sword. Yeah.
But let's just
right.
think about this for a second. Like
Burn
Strahd's
it.
no. Strahd's like, his denizens tend to be rather like obvious, slobbering, bare-chested, teethy things that crawl through ceilings. That's his type of minion. This is a bird. I mean, birds are nice. I
Birds
like
eat
birds.
carrion. Birds eat. They pluck out eyeballs from the dead.
They sing songs.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Not magpies. They eat like worms and seeds and I don't know, other magpies. Yes.
Eyes. There's one way to find out if it'll eat an eye.
Oh God. Okay, so we've had 2 warnings to not go to this windmill. We first had our kind friend, and now we've had a strange bird. Maybe we should reconsider.
I thought you were supposed to wait till the 3rd warning. The rule of 3.
We're
think-
all going. Oh God.
The 3rd warning is you're dead.
Yeah, that is the 3rd warning. We'll put it to a simple vote.
I just feel like we don't know who the magpie works for. What if
Can
it's
we
Strahd to keep?
Well, could you cast illusion and look like Strahd? See if it flies on your shoulder.
We could try. I don't know. Now I'm having a bad feeling about the windmill. The more I think about it, the more I think that perhaps we should go to the giant walled city that's safe.
But weren't you the man desiring adventure and excitement but one bridge ago?
I've gotten a lot more frightened since then.
I'd vote. Let's check it out.
All right, that's 1 for going. Master Suna?
I would also say that we very carefully check this thing out, because
All right.
the thing is, what awaits us is we'll have to spend another night outside anyway.
Okay, all right. So that is 3 to 1. Let's go check it out.
The magpie hops forward a little bit more and it opens its beak and it says, "I don't think it's a good idea to go there." And then
He's not subtle at all.
And then in front of
Bleeding
you,
idiots, get the fuck away from the windmill. Seriously, that don't work.
In front of you, the magpie starts to almost like bubble under the feathers, and it in sort of fits and bursts. It expands and grows, and suddenly it pops out into the shape of this human figure. He's a sort of man in his young 20s, very sallow skin, long, dank hair. He's wearing a cloak of black with some patches of white feathers, and he looks slightly singed. And he looks at you and he says, "How much of a friggin' hint do you need? Stay away from the windmill." And we'll end the session there tonight.
Come on.
Crit Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast, where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcasts.com and join our Crit Faced fan group.